Hello everyone and welcome. Today we have a fun and interesting video that you can actually help us out on. We are going to be taking a look at the top 10 obscure, strange, odd, and mysterious locations in Breath of the Wild, and how some of them may even connect to Breath of the Wild 2. This includes places inside and outside of Hyrule's map, glitched, bugged, beta areas, and more. One of our next videos will be a similar top 10 list, but covering obscure, strange, and wacky characters found in Breath of the Wild. So if you want a shout out and a thank you on that video, comment which characters you think are the oddest and strangest in all of Hyrule, and let us know if you know of any locations that we leave off of this list. If you are a fan of videos like this, it would mean a lot and really help out the channel if you would please subscribe, give us a like, and turn on notifications, especially if you leave a comment and don't want to miss your shout out and the strange character you suggest on our next video. 1. Outer space. Let's begin with a really odd area, technically not even on the planet, but like everything on this list, this is completely accessible in the game. However, to speed up the process, I used the 𝗬𝗵𝗲 emulator to have the camera fly as high as I could above Hyrule. When we get so far away, we see, unlike most game worlds, which remain mostly flat, the kingdom of Hyrule exists on a spherical planet. I'm interested in what you think of this though. Do you think the entire world is actually round? Is this planet in the shape of a ball like Earth? Or is it possibly the skybox or something else, making it appear to have this shape? 2. 𝗵𝗲. One of the most curious places in Breath of the Wild is 𝗵𝗲, the only location with a full name on the map, but is almost completely inaccessible. Nintendo has stated they still had many ideas and concepts they didn't add to the game, or did add, and then later removed. You can watch this video here if you want to see a playlist of almost all of Breath of the Wild's cut content. In later interviews, Nintendo stated the Hero's Path DLC was a tool they used to keep track of where players would go and which areas they ignored or didn't stay long at, and was using that data to make less traveled areas more interesting in DLC by giving them updates and more content. Originally, fans were hoping Nintendo would release an update or DLC which would add content to this area and allow us to finally explore it, especially after the Hero's Path DLC being said to be used for this exact purpose, as Nintendo surely would have seen tens if not hundreds of thousands of players trying to find a way to explore this mountain. However, it never came. Now, a big theory from a lot of fans is that the area will play a big role in the sequel, possibly even having one of the entrances for the underground cave we see in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. But comment below, let us know, what do you think the reason Nintendo didn't allow this location to be explorable is? Especially with them stating over and over that the game is completely open and you can travel to every area that you can see. Then, instead of removing the name off of the map or giving an in-story reason why Link can't explore it, when they realized they wouldn't be using it or making it explorable in the final game, it could have even been something as simple as 𝗵𝗲, where you had to be at least 17 years old to explore on it. Since that's around the age Link is, the in-game reason could literally be something just as simple, like you have to be 18 or 19, though it would be pretty dumb. 3. Mario Club Test Dungeon. This is the only area that isn't actually in the game. Only text files exist in the game's code. 𝗏𝗏, whose video this footage comes from, went out of his way to create the test dungeon as close as he could to the original, based on the text and descriptions he found. The rooms are filled with almost every weapon and many other items that are found in the game. He even added in this giant bug as a boss. 4. Typho Ruins. Located in the northern portion of the Great Hyrule Forest, Typho Ruins are believed to have strong connections with the mysterious ancient Zonai. Nintendo even labels it as such in their book, Creating a Champion. While many locations have connections with the Zonai, that isn't really what makes this area strange or obscure. That would be its dark, black fog surrounding everything. So much work went into the detail and architecture of this area, but we never see it, unless you're using a certain mod. Many believed completing the shrine would lift the fog and we would be able to see everything. Or like 𝗵𝗲, they believed DLC would give it a story. Sadly, it was treated almost like the ice covering Zora's domain in Ocarina of Time, and no resolution came. Hopefully the sequel will shed some light on this area. Again, comment below and let us know if you have your own theory about this area. For now, you can find a mod that allows you to completely remove the dark fog and see everything by checking out the links in the description. 5. Beta Continent north of Hyrule. If we look on the map of Hyrule, we can see a large gap or canyon separating Hyrule from the landmass to the north and west of Hyrule. Since we can't travel here, you would think it was simply here to make the world itself seem much larger and realistic, that other kingdoms or countries exist outside of Hyrule and nothing would be here, just a large empty space. However, if you make it here, you will see you can walk across most of it. It contains buildings, trees, and other assets. You can even summon Epona and fight enemies here. Maybe Nintendo at one point actually did have plans for this area? What do you think? Was it just an unused testing area? Was it left the way it is as a fun secret for fans to find? Or do you think Nintendo intended on making it explorable at some point? My hope, again, is that the sequel will incorporate it into a much larger overworld. 6. A new kingdom miles away. This is just really strange. As mentioned earlier, Breath of the Wild has a few large areas outside of Hyrule. However, they made sense, especially the land to the north and west of Hyrule, as we can even see it physically on the map, like we just covered. However, this area exists sort of miles away from the very eastern border of Hyrule. It's really buggy. Some spots don't have full textures, just some random geometry giving us the shape. When you're so far out from the land, you can sort of see its overall shape. Some parts can be walked on normally. Do you think this is a glitch or bug in the game code that for some reason tries looping you back around to Hyrule if you get too far away, but doesn't load properly, or just jumbles up code? Or do you think Nintendo actually tried building a new area this incredibly far away? Why else would this be out here? 7. Trash Dump. Back to the Gerudo region for probably the funniest and one of the oddest locations on this list. Close to the desert and the 𝗍𝗏 Shrine on Gerudo Highlands, you will find a huge trash pile and garbage dump. At first, I was just like, what is this? Is this really where all of Hyrule just dumps their trash? Is there a quest to clean all of this up? Is it a wild bokoblin, Yiga, Gerudo, or someone who just wants to slowly pollute all of Hyrule? What's going on? We end up finding out most of it is actually burnt or disgusting food that has been left to rot by Moza. Interestingly, some people online, when first discovering this odd area and not speaking to the character, thought it had a much darker story, as opposed to the comedic one the game gives us. As when you look at it from far away, it is mostly the bones that are noticeable, leaving them to think that it was a lot of rotting corpses piled on top of each other, which may have made sense being so close to the Yiga Clan hideout, who are always teleporting around Hyrule and trying to kill literally anyone they see walking. 8. Astral Observatory. This is sort of a bonus, as it is multiple areas with the same overall purposes and possibly a connection to aliens, which Nintendo actually experimented in the game with an alien invasion and even made a comic for it. Why do I say this? Hyrule has various giant telescopes and observatories spread throughout Hyrule, and a lot of designs we see in certain areas or even on shrines in ancient tech have these star patterns on them. We have Hateno Ancient Tech Lab, Akkala Ancient Tech Lab, the Astral Observatory in Hyrule Castle, and the Shrine of Resurrection, and possibly even the Yiga Clan hideout. The tech labs have absolutely huge telescopes. Nintendo states the interior of the Astral Observatory was designed with Hyrule filled at night in mind, and it was made to study the movement of the stars. This deep tunnel is also seen in the Yiga hideout. A similar deep tunnel is also seen in the Yiga hideout in the boss chamber for Master Koga, and could be used for a similar purpose. While it is said the Yiga took over control of the hideout from the Gerudo, it was originally designed and created by the Sheikah to resemble the style of Kakariko Village. More proof is in the designs on the wall, having patterns of the layout of the Sheikah shrines. While aliens might sound a bit odd for a Zelda game, we have to remember Majora's Mask had aliens invading and kidnapping cows. We see them getting closer and closer as a red light in the sky each day. Majora's Mask also had its own Astral Observatory, but was used in it to watch the moon and stars, which Nintendo purposefully designed after real constellations. Since the telescopes are basically just leftover decorations, I imagine at one point all of this stargazing may have led to a bigger part of the story, possibly even trying to watch the sky, if not necessarily for aliens, but to look for Skyloft, or the realm above the clouds. 9. Yiga Clan Pit. While one theory is the Yiga clan hideout and the pit specifically were made as another location to watch the sky, it makes me ask, okay, but why did the Yiga choose one of the worst places in all of Hyrule to use as a hideout? We know the hideout was already being used by the Gerudo, the huge, muscular, powerful race of highly trained warriors live in the village right beside them. It doesn't seem like such a smart choice to have made their secret hideout, which isn't even a secret, out of an old observatory that they don't even use. Plus, the area itself is completely dry and the desert has lots of enemies. Most importantly, their favorite and main source of food and strength, the mighty banana, grow on the other side of Hyrule. So there really is no point unless this specific pit is used for something completely different that they do have an interest in. Because remember, even though they're hiding in a cave, the entrance to the room is also hidden. So a theory I have is that the pit is used as an entrance down to the caves underneath Hyrule, like the caves we see in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, where a mummified Ganondorf is located, and they could possibly revive him or continue worshipping him. This is one of the only reasons I can think of as to why the Yiga would choose such a risky and dangerous location that benefits them in no way and only puts them in more danger, instead of a place like Faron Woods, or at least somewhere closer to the mighty bananas. Bonus, underwater. Breath of the Wild had a lot of cut content. Again, we cover it all in these videos here. There is at least a dozen or more because the game just has so much cut content. One of the ideas or concepts left out of the game, in the final game, despite not being able to explore underwater, Nintendo still left in all of the details and modeling. You can glitch the game and see strange, beautiful scenery underwater that you otherwise wouldn't be able to or wouldn't even know existed. Seeing as Mount 𝗏𝗏 is physically in the world of Hyrule, named on the map, has a shrine located next to it, yet is completely empty and has nothing on it, I don't see why Nintendo would allow a bunch of their developers end up wasting time on something that 99% of players would never even see, or was not meant to be seen by actually exploring underwater. 10. Outside of Master Trials. When in the Master Trials, we can exit the room we are in. Once again, you imagine nothing would be out here, but it actually has a large landmass with other trial rooms, and you can even use this glitch to skip the trials altogether and complete the trials. I'm really interested in why Nintendo decided to create the land outside of the rooms. Would they have wanted us to be out there at one point? Instead of warping room to room when they are completed, would we at one point had physically exited the room out of a gate or door and had to make our way to the next one? If not, or for some other reason, why have all of the rooms connected on a physical, explorable land, complete with textures, water, and all of the other assets? Hello everyone. I just wanted to say thank you to our amazing Patreon supporters, starting off with our royal family, Shadow to Us. On our champion tier, Justin Clark, Monica Spath, SOBERX. In the Sheikah tier, Andremoy, Joseph, Natsu, Wrecker1, Rusty Caulfield, Tremel. And in the Kukiri tier, Chad Costin, David Guthman, Candy, Disappointment, Gus Calvo, Zane, Lean, Lovable Christie, Mr. Monocled Metroid, and whoever this is only donated to hear Jesse speak my name. Thank you all so much. If any of you would like your name to be featured at the end of any of our videos, or to get a shout out at the beginning of our Zelda podcast, the Hylian Gamescast, and to have any of your topics or questions answered or turned into a full video to be featured here on our channel, along with many other things, please join our Patreon and help support the channel. Thank you all so much. Happy Halloween.